Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, that is 2:30 p.m. GMT. Second round of DGMO level talks between India and Pakistan conclude. Indian Armed Forces top brass reveal how India crippled Pakistan defences in the aftermath of Operation Sindoor, hitting key air bases, radars and communications. Air Vice Marshal Bharati credits India's layered integrated air defence system for protecting military and civilian infrastructure, lauds the role of India's indigenous surface-to-air missile, Akash. Indian stock markets, the Sensex and the Nifty surged by almost 4%, logging their best day-long session in nearly 4 years. Sensex surges 2,975 points, Nifty zooms by 916. And Virat Kohli announces his retirement from Test cricket at the age of 36, concludes a remarkable 14-year career in the longest format of the game. And up first, news just coming in. Second round of Director Generals of Military Operations of India and Pakistan talks were held a short while ago. The DGMO level talks have been concluded. This is the latest we are tracking at DD India Live. Further details are awaited. So the DGMO level talks have just concluded. And we are joined by our correspondent Akshay Dongre for more. Akshay, can we say now with confidence that the tensions between the two countries, India and Pakistan, are behind us and Operation Sindoor has been successful?
Well, Operation Sindoor definitely has been successful. However, if you talk about tensions and the hard steps that India has taken against Pakistan, be it the Indus Water Treaty or the closure of borders or even not allowing the Pakistani airlines to use the Indian airspace, or all the other steps that we have taken in sending back Pakistanis, those steps will remain, and that was clarified by the Indian Armed Forces as well. That the DGMO level talks that were the first talks. Those were focused only on the present exchanges. However, the fight against terrorism continues, and it will continue till the time terrorism is uprooted from Pakistan once and for all. So the government remains vigilant. Even the armed forces are on high alert. All the measures that we have taken in terms of defensive measures that remain as they were, and perhaps that was the reason for the DGMO level talks. And what we saw today, as far as the speeches and the statements that were given by the Indian Armed Forces, one thing has become very clear, that the government has been very, very supportive of the troops, of our soldiers, and the kind of push that has been given over the period of 10-12 years on indigenization, on strengthening India's defenses, on providing not only budget but also policies and stability of policies, that has been instrumental in thwarting off not only Pakistani attempts at escalation, but also destruction of terrorism as far as these launch pads were concerned, and elimination of several dreaded terrorists with pinpoint accuracy. And the defensive network that we have integrated and have implemented has become an impregnable wall for all the enemies, adversaries of our country. And that message has not only been given to Pakistan, but for the rest of the world.
Okay, thank you very much, Akshay Dongre. for joining us on the show. Let's move on now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time today. Earlier in the day, the Prime Minister chaired a high-level meeting at his residence in New Delhi. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan and chiefs of 3 services were present at the meeting. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri also attended the meeting. The Director Generals of military operations of all 3 services, Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force, briefed the nation on Operation Sindoor. Air Marshal A.K. Bharti reiterated that India fights against terrorism and the terrorists. Accordingly, on May 7th, India targeted only the terrorist sites. But he said it was Pakistani military who chose to bat for the terrorists and turned it into a personal conflict.
We also iterated that our fight was with terrorists and their support infrastructure and not with Pakistan military. However, it is a pity that the Pakistan military chose to intervene and bat for the terrorists, which compelled us to respond in kind.
The Air Marshal also said that India's robust air defence system effectively thwarted Pakistani attempts to target Indian installations.
This robust AD system comprises of a large variety of multi-layered AD sensors and weapon systems, from point defense weapons like the low-level air defense guns, shoulder-fired manpads, and short-range surface-to-air missiles or SAMs, to area defense weapons like the air defense fighters and longer-range surface-to-air missiles within our inventory. Additionally, the numerous waves of drones and unmanned combat aerial vehicles employed by Pakistan were also thwarted by the indigenously developed soft and hard kill counter-US systems and the well-trained Indian air defense personnel. All this was brought together as an efficient and effective AD environment by the Integrated Air Command and Control System or the ISCCS of the Indian Air Force.
Further, Air Marshal A.K. Bharti said that another highlight was the stellar performance of the indigenous air defense systems like that of the Akash.
Another highlight has been the stellar performance of the indigenous air defense weapon system like the Akash system. I would like to mention that putting together and operationalization of this potent AD environment has been possible over the last decade due to unwavering budgetary and policy support provided by the Government of India in acquiring state-of-the-art equipment and weapon systems.
Air Marshal Bharti added that all the military bases and systems continue to remain fully operational in India and they are ready to undertake any mission if the need arises, completely discrediting Pakistan's claims of having struck Indian facilities.
All our military bases, all our systems continue to remain fully operational and ready to undertake any future missions should the need so arise.
Air Marshal A.K. Bharti further presented the composite picture of targets engaged by the Indian Air Force during Operation Sindoor with specific hits. Noor Khan Air Base was shown being destroyed and Rahimar Khan Air Base, a crater created because of the strike on the runway, was also shown. Now, Director General of Military Operations, DGMO, Lieutenant General Rajiv Ghai on Monday addressed the media on Operation Sindoor. In his address, Lieutenant General Rajiv Ghai said, in the last few years, the character of terrorist activities have changed. Innocent civilians were being attacked.
मैंने आपको कल बताया था कि पिछले कुछ सालों में आतंक की गतिविधियों का कैरेक्टर जो है उसमें कुछ बदलाव आ रहा था। अब हमारी मिलिट्री के साथ साथ मासूम सिविलियंस जो कि अपना बचाव करने में विफल थे उन पर भी हमले हो रहे थे। 2024 में जम्मू सेक्टर में शिवखोरी मंदिर को जाते हुए यात्री और इस साल अप्रैल में पहलगाम में मासूम पर्यटक इस खतरनाक ट्रेंड के विशेष उदाहरण हैं। पहलगाम तक पाप का ये घड़ा भर चुका था।
Further, Lieutenant General Rajiv Ghai conveyed his deep appreciation to the nation's citizens for their invaluable contribution to the success of Operation Sindoor. He highlighted the mission's accomplishments through seamless coordination fueled by the steadfast support of 140 crore citizens.
In every single domain that Operation Sindoor has been prosecuted, there has been absolute synergy between the three services. Not only have we, in this endeavor, been fully supported by our government, departments and agencies, I cannot here not mention our 140 crore countrymen that have stood behind us with their prayers and goodwill, urging and inspiring us to achieve our mission and objectives. For that, we salute you. You are indeed the best. Jai Hind.
Also during the press briefing, DG Naval Operations Vice Admiral A.N. Pramod said that India's powerful carrier battle group with formidable offensive capability was able to operate with impunity and maintained an uncontested presence in the area of operation.
In the current standoff, the presence of our aircraft carrier with large number of MiG-29K fighters and airborne early warning helicopters prevented any suspicious or hostile aircraft to close the carrier battle group within several hundred kilometers. Immediately after the cowardly incident by Pakistani-sponsored terrorist attack at Pahalgam, we had validated our anti-missile and anti-aircraft defense capability in a complex threat environment using cross-platform cooperative mechanism.
So in some heartening news, normalcy has returned to the border areas of India following the second day of peace along India's western frontiers. The overnight period in Jammu and Kashmir and other international border regions reported zero incident. Markets have reopened as usual and border area residents were seen returning to their homes. This marks the first calm night in the recent period. However, security establishment remains on alert. Several border districts of Rajasthan on Monday saw people engaging back in routine activities, reflecting a sense of normalcy. As a precautionary measure, schools, colleges and coaching institutes are closed on Monday in several border districts, while blackout in Jaisalmer continued overnight along with Bikaner, Sri Ganganagar and Barmed districts. The administration has appealed to residents to stay alert and follow safety advisories. You're with us on DD India Live, still to come on the show. US-China agree on a 90-day pause in tariff war, slash tariff levels substantially. The news eases pressure on global financial markets. Iran does not seek nuclear weapons, says President Pezeshkian, reiterates stand after fourth round of talks between Washington and Tehran in Oman.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. US President Donald Trump said that he would cut prescription drug prices by 59%. Drug prices to be cut by 59%. Trump wrote in capital letters on his social media platform as global pharma shares traded lower Monday morning. On Sunday, Trump said that he would sign an executive order to pursue what is known as the most favored nation pricing or international reference pricing. Trump is scheduled to hold an event at the White House with U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at 13:30 hours GMT. The United States and China said on Monday that they have agreed to a deal to slash reciprocal tariffs. Speaking after talks with Chinese officials in Geneva, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that the two sides had reached a deal for a 90-day pause on measures. He added that reciprocal tariffs would come down by 115%. The combined 145% U.S. levies on most Chinese imports will be reduced to 30%, including the rate tied to fentanyl by May 14th. Meanwhile, the 125% Chinese duties on U.S. goods will drop to 10%. The Geneva meetings were the first face-to-face interactions between senior U.S. and Chinese economic officials since President Donald Trump returned to power and launched a global tariff blitz on China.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially moves down the tariff levels. Both sides on the reciprocal tariffs will move their tariffs down 115%. We had very robust discussions. Both sides showed great respect.
The fourth round of US-Iran talks over Tehran's nuclear program ended in Oman on Sunday, with both sides confirming plans for future negotiations. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that the latest talks were more serious and more detailed than previous rounds, indicating a potentially constructive direction for ongoing discussions. The official said that both sides signaled readiness for further talks, despite Tehran's insistence on enriching uranium and US hardline rhetoric.
We can now say that both sides have a better understanding of each other's positions. Many of the main points of disagreement have now been more thoroughly discussed. Their dimensions have been further clarified. There is now a better mutual understanding and the positions have somewhat come closer. I can state that we have decided that these negotiations will continue. Both sides are determined and we have agreed to hold the next meeting.
Meanwhile, speaking at a cabinet meeting, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian asserted that Iran has no intention of developing nuclear weapons. Pezeshkian underlined Iran's dedication to using nuclear technology for peaceful purposes, including in healthcare and agriculture sectors.
The Islamic Republic of Iran is not seeking nuclear weapons. America said they wanted to be sure that we did not want to acquire nuclear weapons and we were ready with all our might, but for them to state and announce that we would abandon the issue of peacefulness in nuclear research and then for them to want to negotiate with us is something that is absolutely unacceptable. We need nuclear technology in healthcare, agriculture, industry, the environment and industry, and we are not going to give up this achievement so easily.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Monday promised that net migration would fall significantly by 2029 as he announced policies to boost skills and training. Starmer added that many immigrants would have to wait longer before getting the status they need to claim welfare. The new rules stated automatic settlement and citizenship for people who move to Britain will apply after 10 years, up from 5 years now, although highly skilled workers would be fast-tracked.
Well, I'm promising it will fall significantly, and I do want to get it down by the end of this Parliament significantly. That is what this plan is intended to achieve, the complete opposite of what you saw in the last 4 years. It is frankly incredible that net migration quadrupled in 4 short years to nearly 1 million. This white paper, these plans bring it back into control.
On to some business news now. Indian benchmark indices, the Sensex and the Nifty closed on a strong note with both benchmarks in green on Monday. The benchmark BSE Sensex surged 2,975 points to 82,429, while the Nifty 50 rose 916 points to settle at 24,924. Biggest Nifty gainers included Infosys, Adani Enterprises, Shriram Finance and HCL Technologies. The tariff issue had the pivotal role in stock markets consolidation over the year, but sudden easing of the US-China tariff war unlocked multiple investment avenues for investors. The third edition of the Dubai Fintech Summit began on Monday. Speaking at the opening of the summit, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Bombay Stock Exchange Limited, Sundararaman Ramamurthy, said that India's capital markets are undergoing a dramatic technological transformation. The summit brings together over 8,000 attendees, 300 speakers from 100 countries and more than 1,000 investors. And on to some sports news now. India's iconic cricketer Virat Kohli has officially announced his retirement from Test cricket at the age of 36. This concludes a remarkable 14-year career in the longest format of the game for Virat Kohli. A report.
India's iconic cricketer Virat Kohli has called time on his illustrious Test career, bringing an end to a 14-year-old career that started in 2011. Kohli announced his decision to step away from red ball cricket on social media platform. He wrote, and I quote, "It's been 14 years since I first wore the baggy blue in Test cricket. Honestly, I never imagined the journey this format would take me on. It's tested me, shaped me and taught me lessons I'll carry for life. I'm walking away with a heart full of gratitude for the game, for the people I shared the field with and for every single person who made me feel seen along the way. I'll always look back at my Test career with a smile." The retirement marked the end of an illustrious Test career of 14 years, during which he made 9,230 runs in 123 tests with 30 centuries. The Delhi batter made his Test debut against the West Indies on June 20, 2011 in Kingston. Since then, Kohli went on to dominate the format, becoming India's most successful batter between the period of 2010 and 2019. He became the third highest Test run getter in the period, piling on 7,202 runs at 54.97 average and 27 centuries, the most by any batter in the time. However, his form dipped following COVID period in 2020. He only managed to put 2,028 runs in 68 innings with 3 centuries. Incidentally, Kohli's 30.72 average is the lowest among all 24 Test batters who have aggregated at least 2,000 runs since 2020. Despite his abrupt decision to call time on his red ball career, Kohli will arguably go down as one of India's finest batters in the format. The former Indian captain stands fourth on the all-time charts among Indian batters, only behind the legendary trio of Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid and Sunil Gavaskar with 9,230 runs at a 46.85 average. Kohli took over the Test captaincy reins following MS Dhoni's Test retirement in 2014 and led India over a successful 8-year tenure. In 68 outings as skipper, Kohli marshalled India to 40 Test wins, making him the most successful Indian Test captain ever. Only Graeme Smith, Ricky Ponting and Steve Waugh have registered more Test wins among international captains. Despite starting the 2024 Border Gavaskar Trophy with a century against Australia in Perth, Kohli ended the tour on a horror note with a repeated pattern of caught behind dismissals hampering his game, amassing only 193 runs. Reactions poured in from across the cricket fraternity to wish the modern-day legend. From AB de Villiers to Gautam Gambhir, everyone hailed the legacy of Kohli. Kohli's retirement from the longest format of the game adds to the exodus of Indian veterans. Ravichandran Ashwin and Rohit Sharma have already called it quits, and now Virat Kohli has become the third one to follow suit. Sports Desk, DD India.
So Virat Kohli's decision marks the end of an era in Indian cricket. We wish him well for the other formats of the game. That's it in this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download. All right, we'll be back with more news as it breaks ahead on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching.